Beat the pop, beat the pop, skirt, skirt, skirt. Hit the block, I hit the block. Pop, truck on top, the block is hot. Let's go tick tock, look at the flick of the wrist. Getting the national dip, little the diamonds don't drip. What's that behind my lip? Ice, drip. This in the movie shoot clips. So don't get hit with the stick. The dirty be up in that shit. The dirty be up in that shit. Run up on me, you get hit. My niggas shit, they don't miss. Rock about love, I does this. Karate chopping hitting them bricks.
Welcome, folks, to Reality Gurus, the show we take a commonsensical approach to issues through complex conversation. You know I'm your host, E. Cleve, and check it out, man. We got this evening shit. You know, I got my man Anye, and I got two special guests from the West Coast. Listen, my man Lamont and my man Maine. Listen, gentlemen, I appreciate y'all taking your time, your busy evenings to come chill with the gurus to get into this good show. But how y'all feeling this evening? What's going on, fellas?
Hey man, I'm all right. I'm all right. Pleasure to be here. Pleasure to be here.
Nice, nice, nice. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into this, man. Y'all see the title? And we're gonna jump in this synopsis, man. Surviving success in the hood. So let's get it back up real quick. March 31st, 2019. We lost Nipsey Hussle. Tragically, murder. In front of his development that he rehabbed, built his brand on the street where he grew up, and he was murdered, man, by someone that he apparently knew. Um, we've done some shows on that. We've touched on it, and we're not belaboring the point. But a question came up for me because I know I do. I try to do some positive things in the neighborhoods that I'm familiar with. And the question has come as like, is it safe for us anymore, man? How do we survive being successful in the hood, man? How do we survive, being able to go out there and do the stuff that we, feel like we want to do for our community, but still, not have to look over our shoulders and stuff and worry about our safety. So, when we think about a Nipsey Hussle situation and all the positive stuff that he was doing, and for him to be murdered the way that he was, this is why I feel like this is a more important time than ever to have this conversation. So, I know Lamont, man, you guys have different views with regard to this situation. So let me ask Lamont first, since I know that your views are more along the lines of once you get successful to go ahead and try to help from a distance. It's okay to leave the hood and try to help from a distance, but I want you to open that up a little bit more because again, I'm still on the fence as far as what to do with that. But kind of help us out understand exactly where your mindset is.
Yeah, I feel that in order to understand where I'm coming from, you have to really be from LA to understand the gang culture out here. And it is not to disrespect. I don't want to be one of those people that's viewed that wants to look at something Nipsey might have done wrong in his past or whatever and knock him down, because we do tend to do that to our leaders. But I just felt there's a different way he could have gone about things. Because you're the old adage, catch more flies with honey. But see, it's kind of hard to take a person at face value when you still kind of associated with your gang. Even though, yes, he was loved by even Bloods and Crips, but I can't say all of them. We cannot say all of them. That's not true. And, after every interview, you giving up your neighborhood and all that kind of stuff. I think personally, that's the only thing I didn't agree with him. I think he did purpose. A lot of people don't know that he did a lot of stuff even when I used to be a teacher, so he was trying to do things also for the Education Institute down in Crenshaw area, and that's one thing I was kind of on this team about. But one thing I didn't agree with is this connection still to the world. I see, there's people that say, well, he kind of needed to reach out to the gang members too, but at the same time, you can reach more gang bangers when you don't associate yourself with the hood, because that's still a neighborhood that's pretty much almost hated and feared by everyone. And if you I think if we could have given Nipsey 7 more years, he'd have been 40. I think he'd have been a little bit more mature. I think he would have kind of distanced himself from that, and maybe not, throw up the set at interviews and stuff like that. I think he'd been more deeper into his work. But I think he was a young man. He's still kind of torn between pleasing his homies or his neighborhood, at the same time trying to be that philanthropist, and you can't do both at the same time. You can still like I mean, one person I like to use as an example is, and she wasn't even part of any body generation. Sweet Alice from Imperial Courts, and how she was able to reach a lot of people during that peace treaty, and she had no affiliation with the gangs, but you know, you can still reach people in the so-called hood. I don't like to say ghetto because that's a Jewish term, but you can still reach people. And like I said, catch a lot more flies with honey. Why not? Because people still look at that thing. I know, and just talking to some of the cats on the street, because I still volunteer and do things on the street with my neighborhood and around my neighborhood and the Baldwin Village area. And I still see there's a lot of animosity with, you know, some people not with the peace treaty because wounds are still fresh. See, in order, I think, for you to be successful, you have to drop cuz. You have to drop blood. I mean, let's forget about the red rag. Let's forget about the blue rag. Let's fly black rag for black people, period. Because you got to include everyone. Because, I mean, I'm sorry. There's some people you're just not going to reach because those wounds are so deep. I mean, cats are still burying their homies before and after Nipsey died. So we got to take that in consideration.
Got you.
And that's the only thing I disagree with what he did. I'm not saying he wasn't a good leader. I'm not saying personally, I think if he could have had that meeting with the police, the LAPD, he probably, a lot of things would have changed in our neighborhood. But that's a different story.
So let me ask real quick, just before I jump over to Maine. So do you feel like there wasn't anything that Nipsey could have done, or anybody who's out there in the neighborhoods that they grew in, or neighborhoods like those, and they're trying to do some community stuff? Do you not think that there's anything that someone in that position can do so they can go ahead and stay active in the neighborhood? Is there anything that you think they can do, or it's just lost cause? Man, you get your bread, you get
No, I think it's not a lost cause, but I'm not saying I'm changing my position on anything or anything like that. I still believe sometimes you have to be. I don't want to. I know we have a lot of a big audience, and I don't want to put his family or anything out there like that. But there's another person who is associated with Nipsey that I probably don't have to say anything. Especially to the stars right there, because he probably know what I'm talking about before I even open my mouth. But he was behind Nipsey, and he's actually really the mastermind of doing the things he wanted to encourage Nipsey team doing and do what he's doing. But he's that person in the background and that nobody knows about. I think you know what I'm talking about. And he keeps his, Nipsey was the face, but he actually was the one running the show. Sometimes you have to be like that. With us, when we said thing about black people, when we do activist stuff, people wake up, they're like, oh my God, we can't have these Negroes coming together. People are more intimidated by us coming together than anybody else. I've seen it at work. I've seen it all over the street. Nobody wants us to be together. And that's what Nipsey was trying to do. And when you put yourself out there in the forefront, and then also you're a gang member, I mean, just keeping it real. Then not only the police, I don't think, in my personal opinion, I don't think LAPD had any intentions of meeting with the man because he was a gang member and because he's trying to unify the very people they make money off of.
Got you. Okay.
Let's keep it real. The prison industry is a multi-billion-dollar corporation that makes money off us being incarcerated and killing each other.
Indeed.
And sometimes, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Sometimes you got to be on the low and work inside. The problem is we don't want to do that. It seems like a lot of us, we just want to be in the front. I want to be the man. I'm also looking at the peace treaty, and everybody wants to be the person to say, I am the one who started the peace treaty. And I'm seeing that. I'm just going by what I'm seeing. And it's like, who cares? As long as it happens.
Right.
Understand?
Right.
We black people gotta learn how to move in silence. We gotta learn how to be assassins.
Right.
But in silence.
Right.
And that's what I think that's the problem. He was too much out there. Nipsey Hussle, I'm no disrespect. But I just felt he was too much out there. He was too much, everybody knew everything about him.
Okay.
Sometimes
So
you gotta keep your circle small, especially when you're moving like that.
Okay.
And two people I feel bad for. Three people. His family, three sets of people. His family, his probably would have been wife, his kids, of course, and that bodyguard that should have been with him that probably was told to stay at home. Now I got this. I feel bad for him because I used to work that kind of work, and I know he was feeling like, damn, if I would have been there, and if he'd have been there, man, Nipsey probably still be lying. I know that's not his fault because Nipsey himself probably thought I was going down to the store when my boys got out of prison. You know.
Okay. Yeah. So okay. All right. So Maine, let me ask you then. You hear what Lamont's talking about. He's erring a little more on the side of caution. You reach a little bit of success in the hood, and his thought process is, to continue to help, but again, be a little more cautious. Now, I think, if I'm not mistaken, your approach is a little bit different. Um,
Yeah, yeah. The type of experience that these people need are a hands-on type of approach. This is not a stand back and puppeteer this type of movement. This is a grassroots. This is a in your face. This is a because you got to remember we are impressionable
mhm,
in the hood. You know, to this day, the type of car I pull up in, the type of clothes I wear, the type of women I may or may not have around me, we impressionable.
mhm,
You can't do that from a distance. When I pull up in the Bentley truck, when I pull up in the Ferrari, if I pull up in whatever, the kids on the block saying, that's my car. Who
mm,
is that? That's Maine. How he get it? Because remember, a lot of the choices and the things we did coming up was how did he do it?
mhm,
So unfortunately in the 80s, when we 80s babies, well I am, they was getting it off crack cocaine. They was getting it off hustling.
mhm,
That's real.
We seen the gold ropes, we seen the chain, we knew who was who. And they had the gun on the block and all that, and we emulated that. That's what we wanted to be.
right.
We didn't have no doctors, no lawyers, no dentists, and whatnot. We was in an apartment, a three-stack apartment on Figueroa Street, when not a man in not one of the houses.
Mm.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's what you've seen outside, and imagine if them dudes would have gave us a different way. It's not their fault. I'm not blaming them because they was doing what they knew how to do to survive.
Right.
You follow me? So when you talk about a Nipsey Hussle being separated from the game, this is where he from, as I am with my game. And the people that I deal with, I'm hands-on. I go back. I gotta go back. And what that does is it does a lot of things on many levels. What it do for the person who may have took the school route, the military route, the law enforcement route, the doctor route, it says you can come back here and start something. Look at the amount of love he got from the community. That's an example.
Mm.
So people gonna say, what's my obligation now? When I do become a doctor, do I do like Nipsey did and open up something around here and give back to my people? I want to be loved like that one day. I want to be influential like that one day. And ain't nothing wrong with it. It's nothing wrong with caring about where you come from. Now, it's two ways to do it. See, we got to as you said, Lamont, knowing the politics of LA is very important in this conversation, because if you don't, you can get lost. You can get lost in translation of not understanding why we do and whatnot.
Mm.
As I said before, one of the main things you do, well, what's gonna happen to you if you ever get incarcerated, we call it gladiator school, the LA County Jail. Before you roll up your uniform, or before you get in that cell, the first question coming your way,
Mm.
hey bro, where you from?
Mm.
That's the first question. Because Hustle's been to that place before. What do you do in your music? I'm from 6-0. What's happening? That's the first thing that's gonna come out your mouth. Where you from? Because in our culture, that's what we program to do. Where you from, bro? I don't want to know how you grew up. I don't want to know where you went to school. I don't want to know nothing. First thing I want to know, hey, bro, where you from? Okay, now we got that out the way. Now we could talk about, you know what I'm saying? Because in jail, once I get that out the way, how many enemies I got in here? So-called enemies. How many enemies I got in here? All right, you from where? All right, bro, let's go to the back. Let's get this out the way. You know what I'm saying? We're going to do our stuff, and then we're going to go from there. Oh, he's solid. You know what I'm saying? All right, I call my fade with him. That is just our politics. It's our politics. So it don't change because you become successful. It don't change because, you know, but you evolve.
Right.
You evolve. It's like, okay, I'm from 6-0, but I'm not saying I'm from 6-0, go shoot this person or go do that. It's saying I'm from 6-0, this is where I come from, this is my section, but this my team. But I'm just as smart as you, bro. I'm finna buy this. I'm finna invest in this. I'm finna encourage this. You can see his evolution. You see his evolution from when he started until where he ended. And you know what? You don't have to be a way to do that. You can be right there in the grassroots. We don't tell politicians that.
Right.
We don't tell them reach their base from outside. No, Obama gonna show up on your doorstep. Vote for this. Do for that. You gotta bring it to the people. You can't expect no change from a distance, because I don't even listen to people who don't got the courage to come to my neighborhood and intermingle and be with the people. If you can't be with the people, why I'm listening to you?
Gotcha.
Now, I understand that, you know, not to just totally discredit Lamont point, because I do understand and I respect that. I'm saying, what I think he's saying is from a boss perspective. You know, you don't have to, you know, when you're a boss, you don't have to go do everything. You got people to go do it for you. Right. You pushing buttons from your chair. You pushing buttons from your seat. Hey, this is what I want done and whatnot. I'm just saying, when you the face of that, you got to be in the trenches. You know?
Gotcha. Well, let me ask this then. So, you know, because I feel you on that point. Again, you know, some years back, some partners of mine have put together a not-for-profit organization that we ran out of a intermediate school in Brooklyn, New York. And got to tell you, man, as far as being able to relate, coming in there for your little, you know, little job, you know, what they call those things, those career days, you know, where they want you to sit down and talk to the kids and stuff. You know, they expected us to come in there with, you know, your suit, your tie, and all that other crap. And, you know, and at the time I was like 23, 24 years old, and it wasn't even making sense to me. You understand what I'm saying? At that point, I'm professional at that point, you know, had a career and everything going on, and it still didn't make sense to me. So I understand what you mean as far as the relate stuff. But this is what my question would be. With knowing what, you know, what Nipsey Hussle's fate, probably still having the same thought process that you're talking about right now, being able to reach the people in your community, being hands-on, being there, not being afraid of your own people and afraid of your community, having that same thought. And, you know, with his fate, you know, he still was murdered in front of the place, you know, that he rehabbed for the people in his community and on the street that he grew up in. So, like, you know, what do you say to something like that, brother? You know, what, you know, for someone, say for instance like me, who is now on the fence and really thinking about this, you know, especially about how he communicates this to other people. You know, what would you say to somebody like me who says, like, well, damn, man, you know, I want to be out there, I want to be hands on. You know, I'm not afraid of my own people, but at the end of the day, I got a family to think about. You know what I'm saying? And God forbid I go out there and something happens to me, no one else is going to be responsible for them. So what do you say to something to an individual like
I
that?
don't say that you should be that anybody. I'm not saying that.
Well, no. Let
be
me
afraid of you people.
hold on with me, Lamont. I was asking Maine that simply because he's embracing, you know, staying in the hood and you know, being hands on.
See,
So
I'm not even really saying that not stay in the hood. I'm just saying if you want to, I mean, you can't. You got, if you want to relate to more people, drop the hood shit. That's all I'm saying. Leave the 60 this that and alone. Just be. I'm not going. Just like I don't care to mention what neighborhood I'm from.
Right.
Even though I still volunteer in my neighborhood. I'm not afraid of my people. I go down there, but I don't go down there as L-Face. I go down as Lamont Montgomery.
Gotcha.
And who works for Airport PD now. But I mean, I don't necessarily, you know, I'm not saying he should have been around his people. I'm not saying be afraid of people. It's just if you want to reach more people, because you see all the love. That was beautiful. I mean, I see all that love, see all the candles, see all the memorials. But guess what? There's about 30,000 people that say I hang with this. But you can get to them, and they can't get past the rolling 60. They can't get past the Denver Lane or whatever person or something. They want, I mean, miss me. It's like with this whole peace treaty. See, they want everybody's kind of being forced into this thing. And if you don't do it, you know, if you don't do it, we're gonna come get at you. That ain't gonna happen. Trust me. They got guns just like you got guns. My point is, it has to be a ceasefire first, and that means let's respect. So we see, even though we might see each other in public, and say, okay, I know you from there, brother, but we're not gonna fire upon each other. We're not gonna cause any ruckus today. And then it has to be guidelines by which you follow in order for that. That's all I'm saying.
But
I'm sorry. I'm still not down with Snoop Dogg, and I just don't like, because I feel every time that dude, and not knowing who he is and how he is, I don't hate him, but I just hate the fact that every time he says, cuz, come on, man, drop that. You too old for that shit.
But here's the thing though, Lamont, here's the thing, you know, and we know it because we grew up around it. We say gang, 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 but ultimately what we saying what it is, that's your family. That's ultimately your family.
It's your family, but if I'm from Black,
hold up.
You're not my family.
But here's the thing. No, I'm saying that was his family. So I'm saying ultimately you ain't gonna never break away 100%. 100%. You're gonna be attached to that one way or another.
I still got enemies from 18th Street. But
and if I can add, at the end of the day, we got to remember what it is. It's tribalism. That's all it is. It's tribalism. It's your tribe. You don't separate from that. That's life.
The thing is, I can't
like, you get what I'm saying? That's not a negative. It's a positive. It's your tribe. That's your zodiac. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't. You know, I feel obligated to continue to be a part of my neighborhood. When have we ever had everybody on the same wavelength? It's never happened.
Never happened.
It's never happened. I'm working on that, but I'm working on a code. I'm working on a way that we all can agree to say, this is the standard. This is the standard operating procedure for this. And, you know, there's repercussions if I handle it outside of this way. That's what I'm creating. Okay, but because we're not there yet, Malcolm in his day didn't have everybody.
Right.
He didn't. He didn't. There was other factors that some people said, like you saying Crip and Blood, they said Muslim and Christian. Except
tribalism.
It's not just us. It's not just him. You know? So don't get so wound up the fact that Snoop is saying cuz or Maine is saying blood. We're going to give you that respect. Because guess what? I was there. I was at the gang leader. I was there. I was there. So it's like, right. So it's like, I went there under the premise of knowing, guess who I was standing next to? 60s, A-Trays, you name it. Everybody was there. We all was there. So it's like, the tribalism can happen. I don't have to say, hey, you need to stop saying 60s. Hey, you need to stop saying Antis Park. Go ahead and say it.
I mean, I don't think a man should stop.
Well, hold on,
focus on substantive.
But if we're in neutral territories, that shouldn't even be a situation. I would definitely, even to this day, even if I went to 60, you know, I would never say that the word blood come out of my mouth. Because I'm in your neighborhood, I respect you, and I have to respect that. Now, I mean, some people get that little courage juice, you know how they are, and they got every word they got to use is a B and all this kind of stuff. I mean, and you go over there, I mean, if you get beat up, that's on you. But my thing is I just feel even if we're on neutral territory, if I'm in the 60s neighborhood, okay, I know I'm in the 60s. Okay, I'm not going to say this, that, and the other. How you doing, brother? How's everything doing? I'm so, but I'm not here to disrespect you. I'm just passing through.
So now ultimately the conversation becomes strategy or effectiveness. What is the most effective route in this? This is what we're trying to figure out as black men. Are we saying once again, hey, I gotta help the hood from
black
afar?
Men, period.
Hold on. Are we saying I gotta help the hood from afar? Or are we saying I gotta go in there and I gotta be hands-on with my people because hey, I feel what Maine is saying. Hey, you know what? I gotta look like my people. I gotta talk like my people. I gotta be able to connect with my people for them to be able to respect me. I gotta have them do.
Guess what? Guess what?
Dallas not have respect in Watts.
Say it again.
Dallas not have respect. She wasn't a gang member. She had everybody's ear.
See, this is the question I want to ask. This would be for all of you guys, because this is good because you guys all have identified with the West Coast. But Well, now we're talking like Lamont specifically. You were mentioning how you wouldn't go into other neighborhoods and maybe mention blood. You was mentioning the '60s, which was Crip. But if we're talking about Nipsey, we're talking about Nipsey being murdered by someone, if I understand correctly, that had ties to his own gang, not
Yes.
not another gang. So this is the part that I was asking Maine, as far as somebody like me who feels like this is all I know. If I'm going to assist, I have to be hands on. But if the argument is, listen, G, that's not the greatest thing to do right now because it's not safe. My question to you, Maine, if the bullet came from someone in his own or who came from his own circle, how do you make someone like me feel comfortable about, continuing to stay in the hood and be hands on and not have to be worrying about that? That's the part that still got me rocked by this whole thing, man. Is that it came from the circle.
I got you. Understand this. Something that has to be understood from the outset. His actions didn't get him killed. Him having a business in his neighborhood didn't get him killed. His rise to success, jealousy got him killed. And there's still more to the story. It can come out that some whole other stuff got him killed.
Gotcha.
20 years later.
Gotcha.
So with that said, I don't want people to mistake the fact that he gave back to his neighborhood and you're gonna get killed if you support where you come from. That can be further from the truth. That's absolutely wrong. That's not what got him killed. You gotta understand, it's politics, it's jealousy out here. Guess what? What would happen to you if you pull up to the club right now, and you had the latest Ferrari, and jewelry on, and a good-looking woman? Guess what? It's somebody in that club that's not gonna like you. It's somebody in that club that may say, man, fuck that nigga. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever you doing in the inside that can make him feel like he's supposed to be where you are. So we don't know the extent of the coward that took Nipsey, of was it pure jealousy? We know they knew each other prior. We know they had situations. We don't know enough to speak on it, but just from a general standpoint, you can't walk out the door worrying about things like that. You gotta live your life.
That's the end of it.
You gotta live your life, man. You can't worry about what somebody gonna do because we all touchable. And Nipsey found that out.
Yeah.
We all touchable.
Yeah.
So it's like when I go out and I'm around certain people or doing certain things, with celebrities or high profile people, I know that they have people that's jealous of them. I don't even think twice about it. We can't ever get to the point to where we're not living our life. Nipsey, to quote Nipsey, he said, at least we had the shit.
All right.
He never anticipated it lasting forever. You know what I'm saying? And he, what did he do? He gave instructions in his songs. The last song he made on the Victory Lap album with Roddy Ricch, the Racks in the Middle, whatever. He said, if it happened to me, I'm gonna tell you, the V12 to the pipe and smoke.
All right.
He telling you, go on, move on. If it happened to me,
Yes. So ultimately, in scenarios like this, they want to push the whole fear thing on us. They make us scared to come back to the hood, scared to help the people. But here's the thing: you're gonna die anyway in this motherfucker.
Anyway,
you might as well while you here max out. Hold on, real quick, we might as well max out on the opportunities that we have and ride it with the pedal to the motherfucking metal.
Yeah.
Because you don't go. But what type of mark are you gonna leave in this world? How many people you're gonna change in your hood? How many people in your family are you gonna raise up out of that?
Right.
So if anything that we should learn from this is
that's a martyr.
Each and every day, each and every second, you got to be putting in that motherfucking work to the max.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now still put it in, but you don't have to focus on the gang aspect of, man, you still put in work and relate to your people, still be around your neighborhood.
But see, that's what make it so much more special. The fact that you that rose out the concrete, the fact that you can still symbolize, come from a place where you're not supposed to make it, where you're supposed to be dead or in jail, and you symbolize, no, I came from here. That's hope. That's direction. That's instruction. You know what I'm saying? That's teaching the person behind you to say, look, I'm from.
Uh-oh. Why does it seem like I'm the only one still here? Yeah, that's absolutely crazy. That I'm the only one that's still here. Well, folks, listen, we got Maine, we got Lamont, we got Ye. Um, and they were getting really interested into this conversation about surviving success in the hood. Kind of lost them for a minute. Give me 1 second, and then I'll get the fellas back, and we'll jump back into it. See y'all in a bit.
The truth ain't gonna work unless we get these youngsters involved. And that's the truth. And things that have to work in preventive mode. We're talking about from elementary school on up to high school. And thing is, we can't say no. Nipsey, yeah, he lived that life, and I'm not like I said, I'm not disrespecting him, not disrespecting his memory. He lived that life. That's what he did. That's what he chose. But guess what? Not all of us have to do that. Now I can understand being poor and coming from nothing is one thing, but being just because you're poor, that's almost approving that. Yeah, okay, gangbang for a little bit, and then become an activist. I mean, it's not like that. I mean, I'm not saying bad about. Like I said, I'm not talking bad about Nip. I'm just saying in general. Why don't we work from a preventive mode to keep these kids out there? Hopefully one day.
Jermaine, let me cut in real quick, because I think we need to. Sometimes we got to take that gangbang element out of it all and focus on the fact that we still black men in America.
Right.
And the hunt is on black men in America. Whether you're part of a gang, whether you got on a suit and tie, you're a threat because you are a black man in America. Sean Taylor wasn't no gangster, but he got killed in his own home.
Yes, sir.
One B just had a dude just to run up in his home, and he clapped on the dude or whatnot, and the dude ended up in the hospital. We got situations with policemen out in the streets each and every day. So I mean, I get the gangbanging element, but we still black men in America, and that's the flag that we wearing.
Right there, that right there is important. What you guys saying, we kind of agree with it, but we don't. But the thing is, that's the element that has to be. If we want that respect, if we want people to take us seriously, if we want, and not only move. I mean, we have to move the way Nipsey moved to a certain degree as far as his businesses and doing all that kind of coming together collectively as a financial collective. And I respect that about Nipsey. Because he was a hustler, and I respect that. Dude, that's amazing.
Okay, so
but that's how we gotta move. We're gonna move like that.
Let me ask you a question. Because I hear you talk about a lot about him being real vocal about the gang, gang language, things of that nature, shouting out his hood. Let's just say he wasn't doing any of that. Let's just say that because he came from it, everybody knows, his origin, where, his affiliation. But,
Right.
He went to marathon every day, and, he was dressed, normal. There wasn't anything that gave you the impression that he was still active as far as gangbang is concerned. When he does his interviews, he doesn't shout out any blocks or anything. Do you think that that in and of itself, that just alone, would have kept him from being murdered in front of his spot in Los Angeles?
No, it wouldn't have. I mean, it wouldn't have. But I mean, I think also it would have got him an even bigger following. He had a big following, but I think it would have got an even bigger following. But it wouldn't have prevented, because like you said, it was a jealousy murder. And from what I'm seeing, I mean, not to go off on a tangent, but it looks even stranger than that to me, because I mean, the man got an attorney, Chris Darden, who's a high-profile attorney. This dude is broke, so it looks even strange to me that this guy, somebody that has nothing, a pot or window, he doesn't have a window, a pot fits and a window throw out of it. Now has a high-profile attorney after killing a high-profile guy. That was strange in itself. I still think he would have passed. He still would have died, because if you say that's a jealousy murder, yeah. But like I said, because he's an activist, period. And that's what I'm saying. Sometimes as activists, sometimes it's just like one thing that Dr. Boyce Watkins said. and he made reference to World War II. The problem is with us black people, everybody wants to be the man when we want to follow one man. Instead, we won World War II because we mass-produced tanks, mass-produced airplanes, mass-produced everything to outdo the Germans. And that's what we have to do as a black community. We don't need one Nipsey Hussle. We need 10,000 Nipsey Hussle. That way they can't focus on one of us.
Right.
That's the problem. That's the only thing I think he did wrong. It's like sometimes we all want to be out in that limelight. And you can't do that when you're being an actor. Nipsey Hussle was an activist. He was. I mean, I know he was a gang member. I'll leave that side alone. But he was an activist. He was an activist who was trying to do something financially. Just imagine, and I kind of go off the subject, but it's still the same thing. But just think about if Gaddafi would have unified Africa, and it would have been, and we would not accept American dollars for oil and all that kind of stuff like they were planning. Nipsey was on that kind of level. He was trying to do something like that in the neighborhood. And when you do stuff like that, you kind of have to be walking on eggshells. Who's to say that man wasn't sent to kill him? I don't want to get into that, but we got to go by what we saw on camera.
Okay, so let me. I know there was something that you wanted to add before I go over to Maine. You want to go ahead and add that in? Respond to something that Lamont was saying.
I was just gonna throw in there. Damn, what was the point that you hit on? We were talking about the gangs. You said I lost it.
All right, well it'll come back. No big deal. I just wanted to get that opportunity, but
that's what it was. Do you think he would have been able to reach as many people? Do you think he would have been able to influence as many people as he did if he was a conscious rapper?
No, because he probably wouldn't have had the stuff. Probably wouldn't even got it released because nobody wants a conscious rapper. Everybody
but that goes back. That goes back to the. Hold on, Lamont. Hold on. Slow down. That goes back to the whole premise of what is the persona that I have to be able to grab the masses. If the masses,
you're right. You have to be like the people.
If the masses are attracted to the way I portray it, the way I look, and I can feed them a message in with that, then we're dealing with, once again, effectiveness. Ain't nobody trying to gun down Talib Kweli. Ain't nobody trying to gun down Common. I mean, they got messages, but they ain't affecting the masses to the millions like a Nipsey Hussle was.
Right. So,
I mean, can we say millions or can we say the Crenshaw district?
No, we can say millions.
You gotta say
millions. You gotta say millions.
I'm just saying.
You gotta. It's
so. I mean, listen. We gotta remember too. And being on your platform, I'm definitely respectful to all coasts and regions. But let's just be honest, man. LA is influential to other places. I mean, as you see the Crip and Blood epidemic nationwide. So when a lot of people are emulating this lifestyle, man. And when you get a real one like a Nipsey Hussle, it says president. And not only with the masses, but even in the industry, you got rappers that want to be a part of this, and want to, befriend Nipsey and be like, I'm with the sick, what's his name? Young Buck from 50 Cent crew. You name it. He talking about he from neighborhood. You know what I mean? You got, I can go a long, I can get a long list, you know what I'm saying, of rappers that are from other places that come here and they fall into it and they sink into it, man, and they take it back to where they from. And I got G's out in California. Who said that? Rick Ross. You know what I'm saying? So
And to another point that Lamont make, I mean, everybody's perception of Nipsey is different. But I didn't see Nipsey as like this flashy dude, all out there type dude. So I feel like he actually was very secretive with a lot of his moves. He wasn't a flashy dude, and he still got took out. So again, it's that scenario is we are damned if we do, we're damned if we don't as black men.
I don't think we damned though. I think
we damned.
If we do what Nipsey did and follow the rules together, I think we'll be okay. I mean, if he's a multi-millionaire, he has security. That's it. To me, that's just like common sense things. I'm not saying he made the mistake, because guess what? In my neighborhood, I don't have security, so I'm not knocking Nip in no way, shape, or form. But nor am I a multimillionaire, and nor do I have the platform that Nipsey had. I'm just telling you, never in my life would I feel like in the Antis area that I have to have security. I would never feel like that. I would feel my mama still living. Like I would feel comfortable any time of day, any time of night, getting out, high-fiving the homies, what's up? You know, oh, that's Maine, blah, 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 blah.
You know what?
I would never get to a status level to where I can't be normal around where I'm from, where I played as a kid and walked up and down the street. You know, because I too plan to open business right in my neighborhood. And no, I don't plan, I will. In the same fashion. In the back alley where my apartment was, where I grew up, is a strip mall. You think I'm not gonna have something in that strip mall? It's my obligation to.
Right.
So okay. So when we talking about the black man that does have access to that wealth, does have that wealth, let's say he's a millionaire or whatnot, and we can say, damn, Nipsey should have had security with him all the time. At all times. Okay, we're all young entrepreneurs right here. We all come from certain hoods. We trying to build these hoods back up. What is the strategy of how we do it? Seeing as how we ain't coming back with security. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm posing this question to y'all.
I'm all about that. Go ahead. I'll let you go, man. Go ahead.
Well, no. I'm just saying there's a certain comfort level that Nipsey had. I've been to that shop several times before his killing. His dad sitting on one side of the counter, his brother sitting on the other side of the counter. He's standing right there. I'm talking about it was a 3-for-1.
Right.
Nobody searched me coming in. I'm talking about I could have got the daddy, the brother, and him. You know what I'm saying? So that was the level of you got to remember. Again, this is a real one. Like I'm a real one. This is a real one. He really from there. This is not industry. This is not oh somebody claiming the fame. Like
rapping about it.
The mind, you know what I'm saying. This somebody really from his hood, and he in his hood.
Yeah.
And he in his hood, so he not security. Nigga, you don't get packed out by the homies. You feel what I'm saying? It's like what?
And he had that kind of power to get you packed out.
So that's what I'm saying. We don't, security is somebody in a foreign land. Security is something that I might need when I go to Atlanta or go to New York. Hey, where my security at? You know what I'm saying? We're going to perform. I don't know these niggas and what they own and whatnot. But guess what? If I tell you I'm doing a show at Antis Park, security. What security? I don't need no security. What I need security for? I'm in my hood.
In my hood. Exactly. And that's the point.
You feel what I'm saying? Security. So I can almost guarantee you that's exactly how he felt. It cost him his life. And guess what? It can cost me mine. Being too comfortable. Because guess what? I'm not going to lie to y'all. Every time I've been shot at and I made the news was in my neighborhood.
Damn.
Get what I'm saying?
So what answer do we give to the brother, let's say the Oreo type brother that says, you know what? Why would you guys even go back to neighborhoods that have such a high threat level? Why would you even be there knowing that the threat level and the gunplay is so high?
I gotta because I survived it. I lived there. I survived it. What a tragedy would it be to make it out and survive the gunshots at night when I'm going to sleep, and survive standing at the bus stop waiting on the bus to go to school, and survive the police. You got to remember, it's so many just levels of different things you face in living in the hood. It's so many different obstacles that's coming at you from the left, coming at you from the right, and to make it out and to hit that finish tape, that finish line, and be like, bro, I made it out unscathed. I made it out, and now I'm able to go back and give change for somebody else.
Right.
And I gotta take that risk.
Right.
I gotta go back and be like, look, dude, I was at, the NFL player, the NBA player. A lot of, Nipsey, he touched on this. We don't gotta guess too much. He said, I see why niggas get money now and just wander off. I'm not saying it's okay, but it's fucking hard. That's what he talked about it. He said it's hard. He's saying, I'm not saying it's okay for you to wander off, but I do kind of understand, and it's hard for me because a lot of times you just want to not take on the responsibility because it's so much, the burden is so much. But at some point, it got to start somewhere, and it may cost you your life, Malcolm. It may cost you your life, Martin. It may cost you your life. You may have to put your life on the line if you're really serious about change, if you're really serious about your people. I love my people to death. I love my neighborhood to death. You know what I'm saying? And if that got to be the death of me, then so be it. But you know what? I'm not going to allow other people to keep me away, because if that's not more of a reason to go back, I'm not sure what is.
Well, let me say this. Let me clarify, because I have to clarify. I have to say something, man, because I got to clarify. I'm not saying leave your hood. I'm just saying you got to do things differently. I'm just saying you can't. I mean, sometimes. It's like now. I go around. I still, like I said, I still go to the park where I used to hang out at. Take my kids down there, even get some of my time, my wife's wishes. But I mean, and you definitely know that over there where I live is gentrified like a mug right now, and I'm trying to get to that. I mean, like I said, I'm not saying leave your neighborhood. I'm not saying it at all. I'm just saying sometimes you have to change your strategy. You can't be so out there. I'm not, like I said, once again, I think Nipsey was a great person, but he became more of an activist. Even so, I think it even outweighed his gangbanging. But at the point, I think 7 years from now, I mean, if he still lived, man, we might all have to protect him.
So, Lamont, let me ask.
I think it was a snowball.
Let me ask this question: if we're going back to being able to, you know, to identify and relate to the people in your neighborhood. So let's say, for instance, let's say Nipsey, did change his attitude, did change the way he moved. I talked about how he wasn't, repping his hood in interviews, things, but let's just say that everything that you're suggesting, being a little smarter, a little more strategic, how does that convince that young black male that, may feel like he ain't got it all, may not have the confidence level to feel like that he could go ahead and descend to that position that Nipsey did and change his whole persona, change the way he is. Like, the reason why I like what Nipsey did is because he stayed true to himself, right? What do we say off cam, man? You were mentioning, the quote that Tupac made about the rose and the concrete, right? So not Tupac, Nipsey stayed true to himself. He didn't change anything. If that's what he came from, he got pulled off the porch at a young age, was thrown into this life, and it's who he is. It's who he is. I've had a hard problem. I got a real big problem feeling like you gotta kind of strip of who you are,
That's
to
your
go ahead
identity.
and especially if you look at what it is that Nipsey was doing, he didn't strip off nothing. He was still able to achieve what he was able to achieve. So I'm still asking the question to you, brother. Like, you know, do you think that these young brothers out here would have been able to identify with a Nipsey if he completely tried to separate himself from the gang culture? I'm not talking about necessarily leaving the hood, but what you're suggesting is his attachment to the gang culture had a lot to do with him being murdered.
Yes, right.
So my question,
I think he still could have got his part in game apart. I mean, because he could let him know there's a way out. There's another way. You convey that by showing there's another way. This is what I did. Because black people, we also follow by example. We also, we lead by example. We follow by example. And he still could have. That's his narrative. I mean, of course, he has to mention that, but at the same time, it doesn't have to still be your mantra where you still out there. Come on, man, leave that alone.
So how do you convert?
I don't have to.
How do you convert if we would? If we were to,
come on, that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying anything else. I'm not saying leave your neighborhood.
Right.
I just say, okay, I still think he could have reached out to people, because there's been people who don't gangbang. Marla Gibbs is another person. A lot of people don't know that did a lot of good stuff in her neighborhood that had nothing to do with gangbang, and she's kind of like Eartha Kitt for that matter.
Yeah, see, and these two people, you named her and you named the other sister, I think, from Watts, which is ironic because I have never heard of either one of them. And I'm saying that to say that's not to disrespect either one of them or their works. I'm pretty sure they did some great work.
Because they're not your generation.
I really
can't really talk about this.
Right.
It's plenty of heroes and sheroes that's not from my generation that we know about because they were able to reach so many people and they were able to transcend from generation to generation. Then we say, how were they able? Hold on. We have to say, how were they able to reach so many people? How were they able to transcend generations? It was something about the way they were able to connect with the people. Again, I'm not knocking the person on the smaller scale, but we got to really give it up to the person on the bigger scale who was able to reach the millions and reach generation to generation, like a Nipsey Hussle, like a Tupac, like many of our heroes and sheroes from the past.
Now, another thing, those you mentioned Marla Gibbs and Eartha Kitt. Now, I don't know about them, their past or whatever, but I think I'm going to be confident saying that neither one of them gangbang, neither one of them were black. And this is not even this is not even me to make no jokes about it. I didn't. Yeah.
You're missing my point.
No, listen, and that's why I want to finish.
Reached across those lines. I'm just saying. You asked me, can the person do that without being a gang member? And I said yes. And I gave you an example. I said that not saying that Nipsey being. I'm not going to condemn anybody gang member. Trust me, I'm the last person to do that. But I'm just saying, I think you go to another level of consciousness, another level of activism. You kind of have to leave that part alone. So
okay, what I'm saying.
I feel like you more influential. Listen, who are you trying to target? Who's your audience? If I'm one of my audience, can I relate better? Aren't they more inclined to listen to me? It's like, hey, what does the Bible say? Go not in ways of the Gentile, but in the ways of the lost sheep. Go that way towards the people who don't know no better. Once you know better, go get the people who lost. Go get the people who are torn down. Go get the people who don't know left from their right. Mm-hmm. That's the people. Mm-hmm. And he came from those people. He got educated, went back to those people. Look, we been bamboozled. We been fooled. We can own our own. We can get our own. It's still 60 Crip, because I'm one of you. You a 60 Crip that go to jail every day, no work, this, that, and the other. Bro, I'm a 60 Crip, and I own this building. I got a V12 sitting outside. I got this, I got that. Bro, I'm teaching you ownership. I'm teaching you how to go to these meetings and talk to these white people. I'm teaching you how to know your worth with the Proud to Pay campaign, with this and with that. Bro, show the people that they are you and you are them. Bro, I'm going to grassroots.
And I think we doing Nipsey a disservice by just saying he was only. I'm not saying y'all saying this, but it kind of comes off as an undertone.
It was so much more.
He was just influencing the people from his set. He's influencing black kids from the ghetto all across America, all across poverty.
Because we all have similar stories.
Right.
Exactly.
We all are the same.
Right.
He was influencing the black immigrant child. That, hey, I got parents that didn't come from here. Look what I did.
Another one. That's another one.
He was influencing all kind of gangsters, not just Crips, not just 60s, but niggas that's just like, you know what, nigga, I'm from this side of the spectrum, but this shit's so real. He ain't never dissed the red side. I'm fucking with him. This some real nigga shit. This ain't just no, I'm on some gangster shit, fuck the other side type shit, but I could feel that shit.
Never once have he dissed
He wasn't like that. He wasn't like screw the other side. I give him that.
Yeah.
He did try to reach across the color line. I give him that.
Let me ask a quick question. This is because in Maine, you mentioned about LA culture being infectious. It is, brother, because I can't wait until Ye has some people that he want to bring on the more from Los Angeles that could come on and kind of open up the conversation one day about the Bloods and the Crips, the origin, and everything. I really want to get into that, but I want to ask a question because I'm not too familiar. But I used to see Nip wear a lot of red, and when I say red, I'm just talking about a wristband or a hat. I'm talking about a full length jumpsuit,
tuxedo jacket.
Right. So now my question is, so I understand the culture a little bit. How does that become? How was that accepted? As far as the wearing of the colors and stuff.
Well, we in a new generation. We in a new generation. You know, at
That's
first you would
ancient.
never
Okay.
see a Crip in red, and you'll never see a blood in blue. Nowadays, it's the person. You know, when you become a reputable dude, when you're a reputable, I can wear blue laces, red laces, orange lace. Listen, everybody already know who you is and what you stand for.
Got you.
So you know, if that's enough for debate. So you know, now can you run into an issue with those colors on? Absolutely. But then you're gonna let them know what it is. So you know, I mean, to be honest, in the Antis Parks, we used you know, certain cats used to wear all blue to catch somebody slipping. You know what I'm saying? They're throwing the all blue. What's up, cuz? What's cracking? Oh, what's up, cuz? And Dolphin a nigga. You know what I'm saying? What? Nigga, this nigga's park, homie. You feel
Gotcha.
me? So cats used to get set up like that back in the day. You know, you would stand at the bus stop with all blue on. And be like, hey, cuz, you got the time? And see how a nigga respond. You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy. No, you see,
though, you
I
know?
I bring that up because I was wondering if that was his attempt. Well, if it was as official now as it was then, as far as the colors is concerned, I was wondering if that was Nipsey's way of trying to join, or to bring the two together. But listen, I'm in this position.
I don't. If, you know, that answer would be obviously best answered by Nipsey. But I would say, you know, maybe he didn't think about it too. I mean, it's fashion, man. It's just a new era.
Gotcha.
It's a new generation
Gotcha.
where it's not. It's. I don't want to say it's watered down because people still losing their life.
Mhm.
But I will say it's not the same. Lamont, no.
Definitely not the same.
Our era is there. I'm telling you, bro. Back in the day, colors got you killed.
Yeah.
I ain't BSing.
Yeah.
You standing in the wrong place at the wrong time. I mean, a baseball cap, a NY hat, whatever. I mean, they weren't asking no questions.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
you got the, you know, what the song say? When you come to LA, watch them loud ass colors. I'm telling you, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know,
Right.
man, I'm telling you.
Right.
Here was one thing about Nip though, and Big U spoke on it. You know, just how they move so strategically from day one in the game. Y'all was mentioning the colors or whatnot. Big U was speaking about how in all of their videos, even from the earliest videos, they was real big on the imagery and the background of the videos. That number one, we gonna rep this hood specifically. We ain't repping LA, we ain't repping the West Coast, we repping this hood specifically. His thing was like, hey, Nip was the first and the main rapper that was repping specifically his hood because he didn't want to be necessarily attached to a specific city. And even on top of that, with the imagery in the background, he never wanted to be around any walls that had any other hoods whacked out or whatnot. Also, from the beginning, he was doing songs with blood rappers from Game to YG to all different kinds of rappers. So it was never an issue to where dudes looked at Nip like, oh, he got problems with niggas over here. Niggas might have associated his hood with a lot of the problems because his hood is very problematic. But they was like, you know what? No. Nip hustle on that money. He on that money. That's what he about. He working with everybody. He connected with everybody. He on this unity shit. He trying to get it.
Yeah. I just man, listen, man. Like I told y'all, I said I was on the fence about this thing, man. But even saying that, I'm still, who I am, man. Like I tell you, yeah, man, I stay in the city. I stay in New York City. For me, my decision to actually relocate was because of my children. You know what I'm saying? So, man, here's that question. Because I know, I'm getting a real clear understanding of what you came from, Lamont, from what you came from. Um, and that may be cool for you guys, may be cool for even me. But is that something that you would want to subject your children to? Is this that's the thing that I'm talking about? You got your kids here. I know I didn't want my kids to be involved in anything streetwise. I just felt like there's more opportunity for you. I did that, not even to the degree that others have, but what I did was enough for me and you. You understand what I'm saying? So what do you say about what do you say to an individual who feels like, yeah, identify with this place, but this ain't for my children, and the
I'm
relocate.
not gonna lie. I sound like a hypocrite, but I did send my kids to Audubon. So
What's that? What's that place? What's that?
Hey, you know, Audubon, like, it's in the top 110 schools that are doing horrible in the nation. I mean, not in, I mean, the nation, California. You might as well say the nation, California is pretty low in education.
Right.
And we probably lower than Mississippi. You dumber than Mississippi.
Really?
Brain dead.
In
But
California?
no, for real, California. We got one of the worst education systems. Man, it's not schools aren't good for black folks, especially black kids. Well, I have one of my kids going to Baldwin Hills, but I'm about to pull my two girls from Audubon. Audubon is like 103 worst school in the in California, which pushed them probably in the top 10 nationally. But I'm actually gonna send my kids a Price, which is still kind of in the hood, but it's a private school and they'll get better, better learning. But I did send them to Audubon, and I'm kind of glad I did because I mean, this has probably been the worst year of parenting. I mean, not worst year of parenting, yeah, worst year of parenting I've ever had to deal with because I mean it's just been issue after issue after issue, and but at the same time, I mean, I think to a certain degree, you don't want to shelter your kids completely, man. They have to know other people around them. So, like I said, I mean, I might, as an activist like Nipsey Hussle, I might have disagreed the way he did certain things, because he was, like I said, I'm gonna go say it again, he was an activist, but it's kind of hard to be, like I said, tied that in with gang culture.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, you guys believe he has to reach other people. I still think he could have done it if he hadn't been either, because he led by example. But anyway, getting back to that, yeah, I exposed my kids that. I think I live in this neighborhood. I mean, I live in the area, so I mean, I introduced my kids to my homies, and they know my homies real well. And I mean, I don't talk bad about my homies. I don't say anything. I don't say, well, you see, you're gonna be like, no, I don't do anything like that. I don't do anything like that. But I think they do some kind of exposure.
But let me jump in real quick, Jermaine. That's the thing when I say we kind of damned if we do and we damned if we don't. We looking at this situation with Nipsey in hindsight, saying what he did right, what he did wrong, but that was a moment in time. That was that one little moment, and just like you said, you bring your kids around your homies sometime and around that neighborhood, something could happen. You bring your kids to their granny house in the old neighborhood, something could happen. You gotta go see about your cousin over here, something could happen. Something could happen.
Yeah.
We just gotta live our lives to the max and not allow people to control us.
And that's the only thing I was telling you. That's the only thing I was saying.
I tell you what, I wish I could yeah, because my wife, she's not playing, man. She's not playing at all. When you talk about like really keeping my kids away from that element, you know what I'm saying? It's so I kind of battle with that. I battle with that as well. If I can't really justify why I'm taking my kids, out to a Bronx or Brook.
Can I touch on that from a personal standpoint? Now, I got some family members, right? That, I was growing up in South Central, borderline Compton area, in the Antis area. And I had some, like, a little semi-bougie cousins, that they moved out of LA. They moved to, and this is late 90s, mid-90s. They moved to, like, San Bernardino, Rialto, Terry, like, they moved out, And the premise of moving out was LA was too bad. Where Maine lived, it's too bad. People get shot, people get killed. But I'm going to tell you, I learned some real good life lessons. I've learned a lot about people, about the real world, about law enforcement, about the real world. It gave me some tough lessons, some make or break lessons, that made me the person I am today. I took that oppression, that opposition, and I fueled it to what my success is today. And all my cousins that moved out, all their kids are on drugs. All of them.
Oh wow.
And I always asked myself, like, I wonder if they just stayed in the hood and grew up with us. Ain't none of us on drugs. We know about it. We seen the consequences of it. We seen crackheads at the liquor store. We seen crackheads coming up, washing our windows on our car. We seen homelessness. We seen prostitution. I grew up on Figueroa Street. We seen, that's a literal blade. That's literally a prostitution stroll. So, you know, the exposure to this gave us real life lessons that we learned from, and they didn't get that where they was at. So I think they succumbed to, you know, I don't believe in trying to hide the world from your kids. You know, you give them the reality as the way it is. One thing I credit my mom with is not that she didn't take me out the hood, but more so she taught me how to make good decisions. And that's all I needed to get through the hood was knowing how to make good decisions at the right time, knowing when to hold them, when to fold them, you know. And I always give her that credit when I talk to her and I say, Mom, you know, if it wasn't for you, you know what I mean, being in a single parent household. So I say that to say, you know, it's what we give each other. You know, the hood is what we make it, you know, and it groomed me to be what I am. It groomed Nipsey to be the great man that Nipsey is. Where he come from Rolling 60s.
Right.
The man that I am, where I come from, Antis Park. You get what I'm saying? So it's like these are quote unquote bad the worst. That's an original blood set. The Antis Parks, Tookie Williams came to Antis Park, and Raymond Washington got knocked out in the middle of Antis Park. You know what I'm saying? By the homie Cowboy. Yeah. So, because they tried to come to Antis Park and make them Crips when the games first started, and the homies ran them up out of there. Tookie too. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, it's a lot of history. You feel me? And you know, where I come from is an original, one of the 5 original blood gangs in Los Angeles. You feel what I'm saying? Before a lot of these other gangs.
Our neighborhoods been intertwined.
Exactly. Yep, we call them A-Stones. You know what I'm saying? Or AJs. Yeah, or AJs. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, yeah. You know, we got Bone. You know Bone.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Bone, the actor.
Yeah.
You know, he from Antis Park, but he also from the Jays. But yeah, so you know, my premise of it all, the way I talk about it's because I live it. You know, this is where I come from, and all of my success wouldn't mean a damn thing to me if I didn't take it back to the Antis and do something with it. Be it investing in the community or giving it to another person. Now, am I gonna tell them to make the mistakes I made? Absolutely not. I'm gonna tell them how to do things differently now that we know.
All right.
Hey, don't go this, do that. That's where I make the mistake at. You just do this. But it's okay, because we tribing. We from the same tribe. It's okay. We can represent that. We're not gonna let them make that a negative. We're gonna roll with that, and we're gonna get to this next level. And we're gonna be in first class eating, talking about where you from Extra Sport. You feel me? And we're gonna roll forward with it like that. And ain't nothing wrong with it. Ain't nothing wrong with it, because the goal is community. You know what I'm saying? Well, you don't say I'm from Antis Park to say F that dude from East Coast Crips. The old Antis Park would do that. Want to kill him. Or he from Raymond? Oh yeah, kill him. You know? But hopefully the new way of thinking and the new way of moving forward is gonna tell you, oh, you from East Coast Crips. That's what's up, bro. You know?
Yeah.
This how we doing it over there. If they want to come and it's all a black thing. Our tribes don't have to not get along with each other, but you can still be from your tribe. And Nipsey was from his tribe.
I just think there's got to be etiquette, because I mean, you know, there's got to be certain etiquette, man. Because I mean, let's face it. And you know, what are the 3 worst things in the neighborhood? If you know about gangbanging, churn, alcohol, and other drugs. And that's what people that and they get on that tangent. They want to go, and like I said, that's one thing. That's one thing we got to kind of eliminate. You know, we have to find a way we can greet each other like we used to back in the 60s. They'll say, "Yeah, you from Aspen Park? Okay, yeah, you from Hoover." But we're gonna set up this little greeting for each other. Yeah, I said, okay, yeah, I know you where you from, but we cool though. You know, we're all going, you know, whatever. And when we see, I just think if we're gonna be from the same tribe, let's all have something that we can communicate by, that we can agree upon.
And again, I'm working on it. I got something coming out called It Got You. You know, I'll elaborate on that another show, but basically, I've been working on it for a couple of years. And it's a concept where it's something we all live by from our different tribes, but that puts us on a cohesion. You know, it puts us on the same page of working together and you know, having code, having rules and regulations to the way that we operate.
Right.
You know, regardless of the tribe that you live in or you represent. And I think with that, not only will it save lives, it gives us instructions and it dictate leadership. You know, so that's something I've been working on for quite some time.
Nice.
I think I shared it with Akimba back in the day at TSA, but you know, I'm not for sure, but yeah, but
Yeah.
you know,
Okay.
all in all, I love everything Nipsey did. I love to see where he came from and what he became, and I'm that story too. I just don't have the same platform. I'm the exact same story, just from a different side. You know what I'm saying? Just from a different side of the tracks. You know, but my story can be parallel, exactly almost.
Right.
You know what
Right.
I mean? So
Uh,
I live it, and I hate that we lost a good brother because he was special and he means something to the city, and you know, but he left us with some jewels, with some gems, and it's on us to, you know, like Tupac, you know, I don't know if y'all can see it, but you know, that was my era. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
right.
I had Pac and I was really into Tupac, but you know what made Nipsey so much special is not only did he get the game from Tupac, and Tupac said he was gonna spark the brain that changed the world, but he got the game and then he did it. See, it's one thing just to have the information,
Right.
but it's another thing to have the information and put it into works. You get what I'm saying? So that's where the torch and that's where the baton is. It's like now we got to take what Nipsey was saying. It's not new information. It's nothing that he invented, like you said, Lamont. It's other people behind that that's giving the information, but he implemented, and that's ginormous.
Exactly.
He's implementing it, buying, being in the hood, creating businesses, creating jobs for felons, for people that otherwise was dead to society. He resurrected them, viable employment and whatnot.
Yeah. Well, it seems like I tell you what, man. Well, before I jump, because I'm gonna jump to final thoughts in a minute. I want to address the
Okay.
and just be fair to because I fall in that category. So I just want to represent them, you know, individuals who have relocated from the neighborhood that they grew up in. You know, I gave you guys my reasonings behind it. I do have two boys and stuff. But I think when you brought up the example about how you have relatives who, you know, they left the hood, and when you look at the next generation, their kids strung out on drugs, and you know your kids, you know, didn't succumb to that type of fate. I think what happens is that once parents move their children from these areas that they grow up in, they make their lives a little too comfortable. One of the things that you get from being in the hood is you don't get the you don't get the chance to be fucking comfortable. Either you worried about eating, you worried about, you know, protection, you worried about heat, you know, whatever the fuck. There's all kinds of shit that you got to be concerned with that you never get the opportunity to be comfortable. So if you have some black parents that got to a position where they're able to move out of the hood, they need to maintain they need to or at least create that type of atmosphere where these kids are not so comfortable, man. If I mean, that's just enabling these kids. You're not preparing them for what's really to come once they reach maturity. You know what I'm saying? I think
Reality.
it is what that is what it is. That's one thing the hood allows you to see the reality up close and personal, and
Up close and
sometimes in
personal.
an
You see
early
death,
fucking age.
murder,
You
you
know?
know, drugs, everything bad the world got to offer is right there.
Right,
So
right.
you learn it.
Yeah,
You learn it and you know how to cope with it and maneuver, and I don't want to do that, or you know, you make choices.
yeah,
You
yeah, yeah.
make real life or death choices very early.
Yeah.
You know, very early in your life. Yes.
All right, so good
So I
conversation,
actually
folks.
have moved from my section of LA. Now, like I said, I still live like I can spit. My neighborhood's right down the street from me, man. But yeah, I haven't fully taken my kids out of that element, man. Because I want them to experience it. That's what I'm sitting in Audubon. Audubon is one of the worst of the worst. I mean, you know, sad thing about the teachers are real good there, but um, it's just that you know, the kids is pretty much fast thing about a lot of kids are from foster homes there,
Mm.
and you know, and they deal with a lot of stuff, man. But my kids, they have my personality, so they manage to make a lot of friends, even the ones that are hardcore. But from both sides, they don't. My kids don't represent any gang. But um, I agree with you, man. I couldn't do that. I mean, I took a page out of Killer Mike's book. I support public schools. I mean, even though I am going to send the price, but at least prices of black private school.
Now, I was gonna bring that up, that whole Killer Mike thing, because I thought that was an interesting point he made. But I mean, I think it's a bit incomplete in the sense that, if you don't have enough parents who are thinking the way he's thinking, where they can actually control the PTA meetings and get things done in that school, then it's just talk. You
And that's what
understand what I'm
unfortunately is
saying?
happening to Alabama.
Then it's
You
just
can't
talk.
control it.
If you can't, that sounds like a good idea. If you got a school that's named after Frederick Douglass or Booker T. Washington or something, and this greatness is given to you. That was the attitude. That was his whole thought. Greatness is given to you, but you choosing to send your kid to a private school as opposed to this greatness, uplifting this and building this, so that other kids who coming through there can be proud to go here. If you don't have enough parents that are actually thinking that way to get that school to that point, then I mean it's just fucking talk. But I'm not gonna hold y'all too long, fellas. It's been a dope conversation, so we gonna go ahead and get right into final thoughts. Yay! Since we ain't heard from you in a minute, let me go ahead and let you start with the final thoughts, man. What do you think about this whole survivor success in the hood, brother?
Hey, we came from the hood. We done made it to a certain extent. We ain't gonna forget where we came from. We ain't gonna forget the people that's still there. And you know what? We got to go back and revitalize the hood
Yeah.
on every level. This fear tactic that they trying to put out there, it ain't enough. We still coming, and we gonna raise.
They gonna kill us anyway.
Exactly. So we gonna raise up the hood. So I advise every brother and sister out there, let's go back. Let's figure out what way can you help the hood. Each one teach one, and everybody can play a part. All hands on deck.
So are you saying that it's okay for that the term gentrification, it becomes a term, a little positive term, if we have us coming in there and we're rehabbing shit, to
Then
what?
it's revitalization.
Hey yo,
I'm with
listen.
that. I'm with that.
Good shit, Lamont. Let's hear it, brother. Surviving success in the hood, champ. We know where you going. We know some of the things you said, but if you got any final thoughts, let's go ahead and hear it, champ.
Yeah, I just say, when we become activists, we do have responsibility to these kids, and we got to work for preventive mode. And like I said, I'm the last person to down anybody from a gang. I just only reason why I just want everybody to be able to drop it, because it does become an issue when we talk to each other, we communicate with each other. Because like I said, see, one thing we also didn't touch up on, the black people, we were very explosive people. We always want our opinions to be heard. We want to be out front. And a lot of times that makes us clash. And when when you identify with certain things and all that kind of stuff, I'm from this, I'm from that, you're going to look, then that's the problem.
Yeah.
But if we can agree to disagree and say, okay, we're going to put this aside, we're going to agree each other. Because like I said, with this whole thing that's going on, I mean, I'm glad, I'm sad that Nipsey Hussle died. Because, I mean, I like I said, I told you, I have my theories of why he died, and LAPD had no intention of meeting with that man the next day.
Mhm.
But I think we can't just go peace right now, because it's some healing that has to be done. Let's cease fire. Let's agree to disagree. Let's see each other. Let's just say me and Anya with different sets or whatever. I see you over there. I'm not gonna bother. I'll leave where you from. No big deal. I'm not gonna cuss you. I'm not gonna blood me. Whatever. And and um and we say, okay, now we got the ceasefire going. Now let's make certain things. Let's set the guidelines for a truce now.
Mm-hmm.
And then now let's say, okay, now we got all this truth together. Now let's come together and continue what Nipsey was trying to do, which is, bring the hood together. Let's get this money. Because I mean, when you think about it, I mean, just probably in this room alone, I mean, us four right here got money,
Mm-hmm.
and and that's just four of us. So I mean, just imagine if 10,000 of us came together.
And at the
And
thought.
I just. Huh?
No, no, no. I didn't mean to cut you off, but when you mentioned the 10,000 again, that's why I asked the question about, um, if Nipsey was to strip himself of all that gang identity, all that, you couldn't recognize him as a gang member anymore, could he still reach out and create those 10,000 other Nipseys?
I think you want to tell. I think he could have, because he was showed us by example that it's possible to do it. Because he bought businesses. He maybe it would have been a little bit harder because they say there's a gangbang aspect of it. But the thing is, like I said, we're people who we might as well all be from Missouri because it's a show me state. Black people like show me. And that's what it comes down to. We want to see how you going to tell me to make $1 million and you don't have $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
Nipsey can tell you how to do that. I mean, he could have told you like that.
Right.
And he showed you. And I think that's why I think he still could have reached the masses.
Gotcha.
And because he was from that neighborhood.
Gotcha.
Now, let's just say he wasn't 61. Let's say he just grew up in the neighborhood, period.
Right.
And everybody know, yeah, I know Nipsey, I buy some of the music. Let's say none of that. I mean, we even take away the music part. I think if you'd been that young, that entrepreneur, and maybe he probably wouldn't have grabbed as many people, man. But I think he still could have been successful because black people want to see success. They don't want to hear about it. They want to see it.
Nice.
And then they want to learn. Some of us want to learn, not all of us.
Gotcha. Okay, Maine, this is on you, brother. Finish up. Go ahead and take us home, brother.
Well,
Surviving success in the hood, man.
Yes. It's absolutely imperative. I believe it's obligatory. Okay, it's your obligation. You owe it to your community. You owe it to the people. You owe it to yourself. It's mandatory that you go back and plant those seeds that you grew from. Okay, especially when you grew from that particular area. But let's not forget, his message transcends Crenshaw and Slauson. As previously mentioned, this is the transcending all borders. His music was so motivational because everyone could see themselves in him, and he used that motivation to. He actually made a song with a guy from my neighborhood by the name of Quincy White called "No Days Off." Take no days off. And they say from El Segundo to Slauson, that's literally the street that I lived on. And what they talk about is relentless. Being relentless, not taking days off, doing what's necessary to get the job done. We can use that in any line of work that we do. We can use these examples in everyday life. And I don't want to be allowing the fear tactic of us working with our own communities, demanding our own, starting our own businesses, dealing with our own people, to be viewed as a negative. That is the ultimate positive. It's the ultimate necessary. And I, too, will be doing the same thing. And if it causes me my death, then every moment of it will be worth it. And I'm going to end it like that.
And that right there, folks, seems like what separates the two arguments. If you're willing to die for this situation, then I can understand why you're speaking like Maine. But folks, we had a dynamite show. Yay, Lamont, Maine, glad you fellas was able to be here this evening and do this thing with us, man. But we're gonna do this some more. Like I said, I'm interested in LA, and I'm glad you guys could put a little spin on it, man. Let's go ahead and come with a couple more shows to go ahead and get the people who don't know anything about LA and let them know about it. But folks, we had a dynamite show. Make sure you check out that youtube.com/reality guru show. Consider subscribing and be sure y'all hit that bell notification. So I don't want y'all missing none of this good content. On behalf of the crew, I'm G Cleve, Reality Gurus. Take care.
I'm on the ground. Can't stop. Young nigga, I cannot lose. I'ma keep grinding till I get some Jimmy Choo. Don't gotta worry about it, just know I'ma get it through. Don't worry about the ops, we light them up like barbecue.